Segment is with our current guest, Ann Maree O'Callaghan, West Australian Marathon Club committee member and race director. And straight after her, if it's not fast enough, it'll be Simon Furzer to talk all things Formula One. Ann Maree, good morning to you.
Good morning, Peter. Great to be back.
Good to have you back. So it's been 2 weeks since I last saw you, talked with you. What sort of running have you been doing?
Well, I squeezed in I had done the Bustleton Duathlon 100 the week before I saw you.
Right.
So that was an 8K run, 80K ride and a 12K run. And then crazily, I backed that up on the following Saturday. So a short 6-day break with a team in the Margaret River Ultra.
Oh, yes.
So it was a 3-person team.
Yep.
And everyone fears leg 3 and I drew leg 3.
Oh.
But it was great. It was a load of fun. It felt way more than 20 kilometres, the leg that I did, but it did include about 4 or so kilometres of deep beach sand.
Oh.
So that was a bit of a grind.
Oh.
But yeah, really, really great event, great organisation, and just seeing some of the solo runners, Peter,
Yep.
real highlight for me, doing 80 kilometres solo is quite extraordinary. And they actually have a Grand Slam event down there, the Margaret River Ultra, and you can do the solo on the Saturday, the 80 kilometre, and then you can do a trail marathon on the Sunday. And we had some members. One highlight for me was bumping into one of our members, Claudia Seeker, and she was doing the Grand Slam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Good.
And quite extraordinary.
Well, you got to admire the feat. I do deep down go, why? But you have to admire the feat. Now, tell me, when you have to do a leg that's got that much beach sand running, you obviously have to do it in your shoes. You can't tuck them up, put them on your hands, and then. But running on beach sands, I find barefoot's a lot better.
Well, I did see some people that took their shoes off.
Yep.
We came down from the cliffs and, there were some rocks and they stopped and took their shoes off and ran in their socks. And I've got fairly tender feet, so I wasn't really going to do that.
Right.
And I knew that the sand is very coarse sand.
Yeah, down there, yeah.
It's very coarse, so it doesn't really pack, so it moves a lot. So that does make it quite hard.
Did you have a camber as well?
There was a bit of a camber, so most runners were running up on the high side.
In the softer sand.
Yeah, in the softer sand, where it was a bit of a shelf of bit flat on a small shelf, just room for one footpad across there. And I was very much going from, existing footprint to footprint.
Well, that's one of the reasons you don't want to be in front when you get there, because someone's already compacted it down for you. Okay, so one of the things I'm intrigued about is, I love do it yourself, do it with you, or have someone do it for you. Unfortunately, in running, they haven't quite got the app yet where someone else can run for you and hand the benefits over. If we could invent that, we'd be doing really well, I reckon. So we've got two choices. You do it yourself or you do it with someone. So there's a lot of apps out there that go, how do I go from couch to 5 kilometres, couch to 10 kilometres is one I know about. There's probably a lot more. How do you find, being an experienced runner, seasoned runner, and also having seen plenty of people enter running, is the app the way to go, or is it better to go and do it with someone?
Yeah, it's a really interesting point, and it's actually one we discussed last week. We had a new training group starting. We had 15 new enthusiastic people come down to the club last Wednesday to start, and we did raise that, and we went through with people, what's their running background, what have they achieved, and a lot had used apps, and I've got a lot of friends who use apps. I've used apps and training online, app-based training programs. The critical ingredient that you do miss is that in-person contact and that human kind of view of your program and where you're at, and that kind of very much personal approach of, well, actually you've overstretched here. Let's back it off this week. Or in actual fact, you're looking pretty good. Let's see if we can just push a little bit harder tonight in this interval session. Versus you've just raced. We're going to back it off this week. So you're missing that really personal coaching input, that one-on-one, that human element that can pick up some variation or some fluctuations in even your data. And the other thing that you're missing is that community people connection element, that motivation that you can get from being with others, sharing of the hardship, grinding it out together in an interval session, pushing one another, motivating one another, and it's actually running harder and faster than you've ever run before. So we've got, one of our other groups that started a few weeks ago. They came and told me after, doing one of their Sunday long runs, they never thought they could run 12 kilometres. And not only did they run 12 kilometres, they were on the heels of someone else going faster than they've gone before, maintaining a pace that they haven't maintained before because they were with a group, they were with other people. So I think commitment, it helps with commitment. It helps with fronting up. You've got
somebody down. Yep.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of accountability there. You've also got people around you that can say, when you got a niggle, you need to have a stop. You need to have a rest. You need to maybe stop. Let's investigate it. Or is it a niggle that's, is it up here? Or is it something we actually need to go see a physio or a specialist about? Or can we actually go and keep running and push through it and find a barrier we thought we'd hit, but we've actually got through it. So you're getting that sense of feedback as well. But, people come into a training program with people and they grow through it together and they develop friendships. And I think that, as a, person who helps run those coaching programs at our club, at the WA Marathon Club, that is just a joy and so much fun to see that development in people. Some people never thought they could do it at all and they're achieving things. So I think the apps are great. It can be harder to maintain your consistency and your commitment and your motivation, that's all. But I like the idea of both.
Yeah, and listening to what you said, it sounds to me that the app probably helps an experienced runner more than it helps a novice runner because, app says to you, you must do X today, but as an experienced runner, you know that X is probably not right for you today. It needs X with a twist, whether it's harder, softer, or whatever the case may be, because you understand your body and you understand running. Whilst the novice, and that's what I've found when I've done couch to 5Ks or couch to 10Ks, first week, 2 weeks, to be brutally honest, always too easy. And then weeks 3, 4, I go, God, how'd I go from too easy to now it's getting too hard? It doesn't know me.
Yeah, and I think there's a key word there that's really critical is the sense of the confidence you can gain and confidence to know you can push, to know that it's okay, it's safe versus when it's not safe.
Yeah.
And when you're with a group and you're getting that kind of, absolute instant feedback by seeing others, you can actually go from that couch to 5K, couch to 10K. And that sense of achievement, it's just so visible on people's faces. It's quite rewarding for everyone. Yeah.
So you told us last or 2 weeks ago that you have these sessions on Wednesdays, 4:30, is it?
Wednesday, 5:30 at the club is an interval session.
On the banks of the Swan River,
yes,
just down from Crown Casino.
We're very lucky. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. And flat.
It is, yes, although we find some hills.
Oh, do you? Okay,
yes, we do.
Yeah, well, the Matagarup Bridge, even the bridges have got a hill in them
Well,
now.
we do a fairly brutal session up Matagarup. Yeah. So, it might be coming up in the next couple of weeks,
right,
I think.
Okay. So they join up at 5:30. That's every Wednesday. You set them on there, or you run as a group, but then could they get an individual tailored program from there? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so certainly for this new group that started last week, we didn't actually get them running on Wednesday. We actually sat down and went through the structure of the program and, what it takes to actually maintain that level of consistency. And so Vanessa Carson is coaching that program and she's very experienced. And she gets a lot of joy out of it as well. She almost says, I enjoy the coaching part as much as I enjoy my own running. But we do have programs that we give each of the participants, and at a generic level, it's a beginner, intermediate, or advanced.
Yep.
But Vanessa will often look at it with the individual and go, well, you're kind of somewhere between the beginner and the advanced, but or beginner and intermediate, and we can tweak it and change it a little bit. Back it off for some people, or just go, you've actually done more volume coming in versus you haven't done a lot of volume yet.
Yep. And so the sessions go for an hour?
Well,
No?
the great thing about interval session is it's over pretty quickly. So the set of the intervals might be 30 or 40 minutes, with a bookended with a warm up and a cool down.
Yeah.
Prior to that, some people might then go and add on their own extra cool down kilometres. But the idea of that session is that it's that high intensity, it's shorter, higher intensity. So it's really working on our VO2 max, getting our heart rate up, but it's a much shorter period. And our coaches and most coaches would say really you only need one of those high intensity sessions in the week.
And how many weeks does the program run for?
It's a 14-week program, and that will get those 15 will progress through the program together, and then aiming to get them to the Perth Half Marathon in August.
Well, it takes, what is it? I think it takes 3 months to develop a habit. So 14 weeks gets you out of that. You're looking all right. You mentioned the old VO2 max and training heart rate. Back in my day, it was always, as long as you can conduct a conversation, you're in your training heart rate. If you can't, you're pushing too hard. But it never really said if you talk too much and didn't really push at all, where you're in your training heart rate or not.
Well, I think those really good, rock solid, kind of principles still stand.
Okay.
100%. The long run on the Sunday or on the weekend, we always say it's conversation pace.
Yep.
Now, I mean, you have to develop a nice trick here, Peter, and it's you just run with someone who likes to chat, and you just ask them a question, and they answer.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just go, "That's interesting. Tell me more."
Tell me more. Yeah, that's probably the trick, because you'd rather be the listener
so
than
I can
the
breathe.
talker. Yeah, exactly right. Okay, so we had a race on Sunday. It was the Joondalup Running Festival. You were race director. Let's go through the results and highlights. How did we go?
Yeah, the race results, I've been checking the course records. I think we only had one course record broken, and that was the female 10K winner in a time of 36 minutes and 6 seconds, Debbie Donald.
Well done, Debbie.
Yeah, well done, Debbie. So, but we'll go through the half marathon first.
Yep.
And then we can talk about some of the glitches that we had. And
So for the uninitiated, half marathon's 21 Ks.
21 Ks. And the male winner was Will Clifton in a time of 1 hour and 12 minutes and 56 seconds. That's a little bit off the course record,
right,
which is been held by Roberto Bussi for quite some time now, about 10 or 11 years.
Okay.
And in second place was Thomas Tedge, with a time of 1 hour and 13 minutes. Third was Sean Hall in a time of 1 hour and 14 minutes. So they were our top three for the men's event in the half marathon.
Mm-hmm.
In the women, our regular long time winner and just one of the favourites at the WA Marathon Club, the female winner was Lauren French in a time of 1 hour and 25 minutes. And second was Cara Lauren in a time of 1 hour and 27 minutes. And third was Jackie Kellerman in a time of 1 hour and 28 minutes. So that was our podium for the females in the half marathon.
But well done to all of those, all under 130s roughly, pretty well.
Absolutely, they were well and truly, yes.
All right.
And then the 10K, so we reintroduced, there used to be a 10K years ago up at Joondalup, but on this current course, we introduced the 10K again back in 23.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of the 10K on the weekend was Ambrose Foley in a time of 32 minutes and 55 seconds. So pretty fast time. And second place was Thomas Chapman in a time of 33 minutes. And third place in the men's event was Cam Anderson in a time of 35 minutes. And again, they were not quite. The winner, Ambrose, was just under the course record.
Mm-hmm. Or just above, just longer than the course.
Sorry, just above. Correct. And in the females 10K, the podium three, the winner was Debbie Donald in a time of 36 minutes. As I mentioned, that's a current course record.
Yep.
And Sarah Greenwood was third in a time of 37 minutes, 48 seconds. Third was Amy Maloney in 39 minutes. So they were the podiums for the females in the 10.
I think you said Sarah Greenwood was third. She's second.
Second, sorry.
Yeah, right.
Sarah Greenwood was second.
Sorry, Sarah. We didn't want to demote you there. So
no.
you got second place. Well done. Right.
And the 5 kilometre event in the male category, Jamie Lynch was the winner in a time of 17 minutes, 21 seconds. So a pretty fast 5K men's race there. No, second was Lee Chang, time of 18 minutes, 28 seconds. Third was Kieran Craig in a time of 18 minutes and 30 seconds. So well done to those 3 males. And in the female, in the 5K, Catherine Lynn was the winner in a time of 19 minutes. Emily Murray was second in a time of 19 minutes and 40 seconds. And Isabel Parsons was third in a time of 20 minutes and 12 seconds.
So in all of your place getters thus far, 21, 10K and 5Ks, you knew them all? Or does someone turn up on a day that's entered a race, you don't actually know who they are and they actually get a place? Does that often happen?
Yeah,
very often?
Definitely that can happen. And
probably in the 5K.
A few years ago it happened quite a lot in Perth with Carlos Aquino. He started running from zero running and came down to the club, did some training with us, and he blitzed. He's winner of this event in 2 years in a row previously.
Okay,
and really he was unheralded before that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it can happen, definitely.
Yes. And then you have the kids.
Then we have under 16 category, and this is a really exciting category. I love seeing the youngsters out there. For the men or the boys, if you like, the first place in the 10 kilometre under 16 was Jack Bennett in a time of 43 minutes. Second was Nolan Wild in a time of 46 minutes. And third was Lewis Bramwell in a time of 47 minutes. Well done to them.
Yeah.
And in the females, in the under 16 in the 10 kilometre, Olivia Memick was the winner in a time of 46 minutes. Charlotte Bryant was second in a time of 52 minutes, and Ava Sheath was third in a time of 57 minutes. So they're all pretty commendable 10K times for under 16.
Yep.
And in the 5 kilometre under 16 in the male event, Zachary Dinsdale was the winner in a time of 19 minutes. Nicholas Broadbent, second in a time of 19 minutes, 44 seconds. And Kyle Edlington was third in a time of 23 minutes. The females, the winner was Isabel Parsons, 20 minutes. Second, Simona Etzbeth in a time of 20 minutes, 33. And third was Isla Conkling in a time of pretty similar, 20:33. They were towing the line together.
Have I heard the Parsons name before? In this, did you mention
yes, she was third overall in the female. She was also second. Sorry, she was the winner of the under 16,
but third in the overall.
Third female overall.
Good on her. Righto. And what were the highlights of the day?
Oh well, one highlight was certainly a friend of mine that comes to our Wednesday sessions, and his daughter set him to a challenge, which was to enter a Guinness Book of World Records to be hold the world record in finishing a half marathon dressed as a mariachi man, which meant carrying a guitar, wearing a giant sombrero hat and the full kit. So if you don't know the mariachi man, think Three Amigos, something like that from that old film.
And he did it?
And he did it in a time of 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Good on him. Good on him. Was there a theme song for him? Probably La Cucaracha or something like that?
No, we didn't get that quick to do that.
No, fair enough.
But yeah, we're lots of first timers. One to highlight is a guy that trains with us on Wednesday, Matt John, and he finished his first half marathon. I just really want to highlight the extraordinary work that he's put in.
Good on him. Good on you, Matt. Righto, so your event relies on volunteers. We had a bit of a mishap.
Yeah, it does. That's right, Peter. And sometimes it doesn't matter how meticulous you are, how prepared you are. And usually once the gun goes off and we start, as race director, I certainly breathe.
Sigh of relief,
oh, God, I can almost not quite relax, but okay, they're away. That's good. But I turned and, went to move a bollard to, make some space for something and turned around and the 21K runners were coming back and they weren't due back. It's not quite 21 kilometres around Lake Joondalup, so we do have to send the 21K half marathoners, off to do a bit of a loop before they come back past the start-finish area and then continue on a big lap around the lake. And they were coming back in about 4 minutes.
And you thought, this isn't right.
Sebastian Sarway, eat your heart out. These guys have just blitzed you.
Yeah, gotcha.
They're running well under 2 minute kilometres here. So we had to quickly, we realised that the whole course had made this error. So the lead bike had followed the direction of a marshal that just, made a really easy human mistake, very simple to do. But that one simple, error
has
just,
ramifications.
and those ramifications, had cascading effects through the whole event. So because they were coming back past the start-finish area, we had the 10 and 5K runners in the start chute ready to go. We had it perfectly timed. So they would go before the field came back. We had to hold them and quickly work out what our options were. So, option one was they continue as they are and they would probably be doing an 18-kilometre half marathon.
Yeah.
So that's not an option.
Yep.
Option two, they do the loop on their way back that they missed. Hard to control that though, because it was outside of the start-finish area, and to marshal and official that would be really hard.
Other than the fact they'd be strung out,
and to communicate it, really difficult. So the third option, which is what we went for, and this was all done very quickly, as you could imagine, was that the half marathoners would come past. We would block off the run into the finish chute, and they would come past and do an extra K and a bit.
Make up there.
To make up and then come back.
Were they told this along the way so they could prepare for that mentally? Or
I sent, no, because it's very hard to communicate with.
Carrier pigeon? No.
Yeah. So
earpiece would be the answer.
Well, you've touched on one of our improvements for next year.
All right, okay.
Yeah. But I did send one of my, trusted, officials to go about 200 metres away down on the path to tell me when the lead bike was coming.
Yep.
So, I could be in position to
explain
very quickly shout at the lead bike to keep going.
Yeah. But what about the motive? What about the psychology of the runner? Because you're getting close to the end of a race. You're thinking the end could be just there, but all of a sudden someone wants me to do an extra bit, and I mean they've probably got an idea something's going on because they're looking at their watch thinking, "I can't be running this quick." But somehow
there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
there is a lot going on, and obviously, nearly everyone, yes, they're looking at their own watch, their own numbers.
Yep.
But we've also got for every 2 kilometre around the course, we've got markers, and they were out.
Yes.
And that was playing with people's mind, and people were going through themselves. What are the options that they're going to do here? We've missed the start, and most people know where that loop is.
Yeah.
We've missed that. What are they going to do? Are they just going to finish it, or are they going to make us do something? So some people did send their race a bit early, and mentally that had a big impact.
I bet.
Physically as well as mentally.
Yeah.
And
21 kilometres, you're not that rational in the last
Oh, look, totally, 100% not. And so people were going through that in their own heads, and in fixing up the error at the start and quickly calculating, because I didn't really know exactly where they had turned.
Sure.
So I was just going on the quick numbers of when they arrived and calculating it. And I got another reliable marshal and sent them with their own sports watch to walk out 1.4 Ks roughly. So, and with a turn bollard. And I said, you need to, call me. I'm going to try and eyeball some runners to work out, to yell at them to say, tell me what your numbers are, what's your watch saying? What are you up to? And we did try and adjust it back, but it wasn't safe to actually move it any further back towards, to make it closer to the 21.195. Just where it turned, because it requires, you need a straight section where people can turn. So that's, unfortunately, in doing that, we actually then had it running over a little bit. So we worked out it was probably about 500 to 600 metres longer.
Wow.
And that again played with people. So, and I know you make me do another 500 or 600, I'm going to be a bit grumpy too.
Yeah, fair enough.
But look, everyone really, most people have been very accepting of, how it happens. It's really unfortunate because the course is always, all our courses are meticulously measured. So that aspect of it is really unfortunate. And, people are going for their PB, whether that be at the front or at the back.
No,
and every runner, every person, their race is just as important as the other. whether they're, PB at the front, course record, or it's their first.
Yep.
They're all important.
Yep. Or their repeat one. They're comparing how they went last year to this one and so on and so forth. Oh, coincidentally, though, it's National Volunteer Week next week. And obviously you had a heap of volunteers. It was over 100 volunteers to get the event up and running. It's important to the Marathon Club. It's important to all sport, to be honest, volunteers. In fact, radio stations, it's important. But what do you guys do for Volunteer Week?
Well, this week we're hosting a volunteer evening to really celebrate our volunteers and thank them. So that's an event that we put out to all our members and all our volunteers to come along tomorrow evening. And that's registrations for that have now closed. But if anyone has missed out, I'm happy for people to get in contact with us and talk with us about coming along tomorrow evening at the club from 5 o'clock. And we're putting on a barbecue. We're going to have, Evan Colby, one of the legends at the club, will be presenting. And it's just a way of saying thank you and celebrating. And then something we did last week as well, we had a table at the State WA Volunteer Awards.
Yep.
And we took along our winner of our, volunteer award, our club award from last year. He and his wife came along and they had a great time. And there was some of us from the committee there as well. So that was something we did last week. But I think volunteers, they often just don't get the thanks they deserve. And we need our volunteers coming back. So we want people not just willing to volunteer, but we want it to be something that they enjoy. And, to do that, we need more, because otherwise it just rests on a few.
Then it becomes an obligation.
Yeah, and it's very easy to criticise even what happened on Sunday at Joondalup. But if you're always a runner and never a helper, it's kind of a hard position to be in, because the events that people get to run are organised by volunteers.
Yep. Beautifully said. Ann Maree, we could go on. There's a lot to talk about, but I'm afraid we're going to have to cut it short. We're going to start chopping into Formula One time, and that's never a good thing, let me tell you.
I have a husband who's a Formula One fanatic, so no.
So once again, big thanks to the WA Marathon Club, and particularly yourself, Ann Maree O'Callaghan, our committee member and race director. Don't forget, if you want to get involved, Wednesday night, 5:30 at the headquarters of the Marathon Club on the Swan River, just down from the casino. Otherwise, that website is
www.wamc.org.au.
Now, there's a person who learnt from last time. Fantastic. Ann Maree, thanks for your time.